Yeah! Yippee! Yippee!
Terry, welcome, love.
What's up, Gregory, Igor, Mike, and Jana? We love you all. Love and light and everybody. Thanks for showing up.
Woo.
This is 5D Full Disclosure, Heaven on Earth, and we are the First Contact Ground Crew team. Thank you for joining us. I am Buddha.
Jerry.
And this is Jerry.
Hi.
And we love you all. Thank you for joining us. We are so grateful, so honored, so blessed. How's everybody doing out there? Got a lot of movement here behind the scenes. Can't wait to share it all with you. And it's all manifesting piece by piece, bit by bit. I love you, Terry. Love you all. I guess we'll start with a little sip of coffee.
Well, it's been a really weird day. A lot of energies. How's everyone feeling out there? I was nursing a headache all day and frustrated with my ping pong balls because it wasn't working out. Had to keep walking away, keep grounding, keep drinking water, and really didn't want to be on live stream with my grump. But I'm here.
Wait, who's your grump? Me?
No, you're just taking it personally, calling yourself out, Buddha. He's like, you called me, said, take your grump away. I'm like, I'm not grumpy.
Well, it was just funny. The day flew by so fast, and it was like, I looked at the clock. I'm like, 9 minutes till 6 o'clock. Usually, like, we're trying to get in that state an hour before, just kind of go into the flow. But it was just like bam, 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 bam. Okay, well, we've done this before, so let's just get to it, and here we are. So thank you all for being here. And here we are, and hallelujah.
We have a special announcement from Mama God, as we like to share in the afternoon live stream. This is the solstice energies, actually, which we're still on. We're still riding on the solstice energies. Whoa, Mama, wait. And it was from 7 years ago. Yeah, it's called the solstice energies and more. Let's take it away. 19th of June, 2014. Oh, shoot, my mic. There we go. That's what Buddha said. Just get your mic on. It's all good. That's one thing I didn't do, put my mic on.
We do got some new software coming in, so we're excited. We'll share it later.
Greetings, everyone. We are so honored to be here with you to share this message about. We're going to share some things that have been happening, and another message that we've shared before. However, the energies are really ripe for physical manifestation of a new Earth. I mean, we're right there. So and it's very exciting. We are at the front. We are the front runners of the new paradigm. And this is Mother God and the First Contact Ground Crew team here at your service. Honor every moment, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Working on the energies and receiving the information and visions. We've some of the things that we've accomplished is opening up the 3 main portals here, is to bring all the dimensions back together as one after a long moment. So that was the rainbow portal and the golden portal were opened, which is connected to the needle portal, and which was opened, I guess, around the 6th. And also the fail-safe switch was turned on. And I saw it again in my meditation. Yesterday I did another powerful meditation. We have a beautiful space here, meditation space in sacred geometry. It's very powerful. And so we held a meditation in there for the new Earth for everybody. Everybody's coming home into the light. This is what's going on. And love wins.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the message here. The new Earth is in physical manifestation. With the foundation of unconditional love, the only law which exists, can exist, will exist, and has ever existed. No matter what is unfolding in illusion, the reality is that all atoms on planet Earth, equal heart, are moving into perfect balanced harmonics. Oh, that's the other thing. We have activated balanced harmonics. That was another part of that. Which was here in Crestone. We're at the highest and lowest energies on the planet right here. So that's why we were able to accomplish that part. Okay. So no matter what is unfolding in the illusion, the reality is that all atoms on planet Earth equal hearts are moving into perfect balanced harmonics, and all of humanity, including all life on planet Earth, are moving into this frequency called 5D reality. This is why we say we are having a family reunion. What is unfolding right before you, within you, and all around you is love, is here to transform all discordant energies, which were dysfunctional energies of the illusion, into love everywhere present. There will be those who attempt to run and hide from this process, but this will no longer work, as we are now in the final moments of duality, and all must be cleared. Duality ego-based thinking must now be transformed for the next events to unfold. The programmed ego mind cannot enter 5D frequencies. The incoming activating energies. These activating energies are strengthening the higher grid energies, intensifying the clearing and cleansing process once again across the planet, and clearing away for the next facet of the divine plan. Also, what these energies are bringing in is an intensified balance on the planet for more higher light to enter. This is what the solstice is all about. Well, solstice is about balanced harmonics, the masculine and feminine, in complete harmony, balanced harmonics. And this is, we are activating it on this solstice. So that's the energies that intensely been in the last couple of days. They started coming in and keep getting stronger moment by moment. Love has decreed this so, and love holds the highest decree on this planet. All which is not real is dissolving, and what is real will be blossoming as we all together become one brilliant light of living truth. This is Mother Earth's destiny as she lightens up the higher grid with all love is everywhere present in readiness to parade before the central sun. Her destiny is to be in pristine condition. What is arriving? What is arriving are events in preparation for the graduation of humanity. This is the moment you will all hold hands and walk out of the darkness forever and into the light. This was the plan and was each signed by you, each of you. As our dear friend told us many moments, it'll happen. And it truly is already here. Each of you just have to realize the truth, that you are free. Each of you must walk through the veil and open the door into eternal life. For this is when you enter spirit. Ding! And transmission and love everywhere present. We are so in love with humanity. P.S. What to learn first to awaken? Number 1, be love everywhere present. Number 2, be the love you are everywhere present. Number 3, share the love you are with everyone present. Any questions? Love, Mother God, upon the First Contact Ground Crew team. We are happy to be of service. You can also, we're having, as much as we can, we're having galactic love parties in our tiny chat room. You can find the link below. Those are all a lot of fun, a lot of energy, and we share information about what we've been experiencing. Or if anybody needs our assistance, we have awakening sessions, and that link is down below. We'd be happy to speak with you and love you and be of assistance in any way we can. Also, like we were mentioning about the solstice energies, these are very, very intense. We haven't had these energies present. Just like last year in 2013, that was intense. It's 100 times last year's solstice energetically. So may be experiencing a lot of tiredness, sleepiness, or the opposite. So we suggest to relax, just be love, rest when needed, take care of yourself. We love you.
Wee, mama.
Wow.
Beautiful. Wee.
Beautiful. Brandon says, look at that young woman, divinely beautiful, divine being. I mean, not only is she beautiful, but you could just hear the tone in her voice. You know, she has that very soothing sound. I mean, I remember when I first met her online and saw her videos for the first time, it was that tone of her voice that really got me. I'm like, it's just this sound that the vibration makes you light up. And so it's so nice to have these videos to reflect on, because they have more meaning now more than ever. You know, her multidimensionality of putting all this stuff out there years and years ago, you know, now has such a relevance. So thank you, Mom. We love you. We honor you.
Love you, Mom. Yeah. I mean, it was just interesting. Last night, George and I were just sitting down and just everyone was kind of getting ready for conscious rest, and we're just rehearting ourselves of all the different experiences with Mom and the intensity in the training. And Boo and I always laugh because we were together on the boat, and because her team really create a shield, a protective shield around her. It was really important that we were in the extreme of right action, because there was so much dysfunction in the collective that in order to like swing it so that Mom wouldn't be attacked by energetics and unconsciousness, we would be like super towards like, I don't know, such discipline. Like there was like days when we just had to stand. Like there was no sitting involved, and Buddha will share his experience, but it was really hard. And what George and I were coming to was like, we fought for God beyond our own limitations. We actually in 3D never experienced anything that took us so far that we would push the amount of pushing we did for Mom so that we could help her and assist her in not suffering or lessening her suffering, because each day it would be an incremental increase, exponential increase in the pain. And no matter what we did, it didn't seem to help, but at least like we knew we could honor being in right action.
Yeah, it was very, very precise. You know, everything you did carried that much more weight. And when you were in the direct field with Mom, you know, everything mattered. How you felt, what you were thinking, going into any lower thoughts, any of that stuff, you know, had an impact on her. And we had a responsibility as her shield to literally push the limits in order to meet, or at least try to you know, catch up to what she was pushing, because she was pushing so much out that we had to keep everything in right action. And there was this flow though, that once we were in it, it's like the food was being done properly. You know, she was in joy, she was playing music, but it was definitely a training, because she was pushing us past what we would consider our physical limitations. And, you know, now looking at it, all this stuff is like cake compared to what we were doing on the boat, or what we were doing, you know, to support her, because she is encompassing the all. She is prime source creator. And yeah, you definitely going to level up when you're there with her and being pushed to those, you know, there aren't any limitations when you're with Mom. Every boundary is being broken. And
but ego fights.
Ego
fights.
Yeah.
I mean, especially like the dance parties, because the dance parties, Mom pushed a heck of a ton of energy. And when you're not used to that amount of energy hitting your vessel, you're going to unground yourself very quickly. And so that was always like a balance. Like mom would tell stories in between the songs, and you feel yourself filling up with energy, like literally like vibrating like a battery. And you're, you know, she knew I was resistant to the pen. The pen is this massive thing where mom uses the green medicine, and anyone with self-limiting beliefs about weed, Robin's gonna pick it up. And so she's like smiling at me. She hits the pen and she's like, Jerry. And of course you're gonna partake. Of course you're gonna share that experience with mom. And sometimes I had to pretend that I was like actually puffing, and then she'd be watching, and then she goes, keep going. And I was like, oh boy, because I'm not a smoker. I wasn't before mission. And those were the funny moments where I really had to push, because I had belief systems about
and they all came
marijuana.
out. She turned into this old retarded lady.
I was like stuck to the seat. And in some moments, I really literally felt like I was going to pee and poo my pants in front of God. And I was like, I got to move from this spot, and I don't know how I'm going to make it. And it was like, so I mean, there were many instances like that. And it's like, I am so grateful that I pushed and pushed and pushed. And you want to do right. You want to do right. You don't want to fall over like knockouts. Like I knocked out, and it was just like, it's beyond me. But you learn to relax. You learn to be real. And I rehearsed one time, mom, because we do cycles of shifts with mom. When she goes down on to stasis, it could be like a couple of hours, it could be 3, but she doesn't stay down for long. She goes up to the ships and gets like all the Galactic A-Team to repair her vessel, because she's been in so much trauma. Things are out of balance. And I was in the room, and there was only a few of us beings. It was after the boat trip. And it was my shift was the last one. So I was on the 3rd hour. So, you know, everyone had gone down for those 2, and I was just the one to have the last hour to nap, to rest. But as soon as I laid down, mom woke up. And then it was like, oh, okay. Then I was like, okay, dance party time. And so we're dancing like this. And then like halfway through, I go out, I stretch, I breathe. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. And then she's like, how's everyone feeling? And it's like, Jerry, are you tired? And I'm like, no, mom. I was like, regretted it, because when I was telling George, like, if you told her the truth, she would have let you rest.
Yep.
So you're like superwoman, like I can go. I'm like, I'm so tired right now. I can't keep my eyes open. So those are the things you laugh at, because like no matter what the answer was, it was so multidimensional that if I had said yes, I would have been in self-important. The ego just plays this game, and she catches it, because it's like you're glitching because you don't know what to say to God. But she's training you, like, do you actually know what is self-importance? What is self-care, self-love? Who are you pleasing? Who are you lying to? It's all yourself, because God is you, and you are we are her, and she is us. So of course she's going to see, and it's always like the galactics, and we've shared this many times on stream, would like have mom want the one food item that the team had ate. Like,
right.
It was just like, yeah, I'd shared that story before. I arrived at mission, and we'd been in this house for a few days, and there was this one pot of something. And you know, to be divine is to like go through God's food in the fridge, take the old stuff out, keep the new stuff back. And so you'd be rotating, because it needs to be fresh. And in mom's field, everything
stays fresher
needs
longer,
to be,
though, in mom's field too.
But sometimes the energetics, it would go bad quicker.
Of course, yeah.
So anyway, I take this thing out. I don't know what it is. It doesn't have any label. And so I asked some of the team members, like, what is this? Does anyone know? And they're like smelling it. We're like poking it. It's like, well, I don't know. And so we try it. We have a spoon, and it's like, it's like caramel something. It's quite nice. And so like, because it had the spoon taken out, it was like, what's this? It's like, we don't know. So everyone had a spoon till it was gone. And like an hour later, Mom asked for her creme brulee that she has been waiting for days. Her window is very tiny.
Oh, was it that one? I was there present?
Yes,
okay, so,
I asked you.
okay. No, well, okay. So there was fruit on top of this beautiful creme brulee that had gone a little sour, a little bad. And honestly, that's all my ego needed to see to be like, nope, this
Not
thing
for
is
God.
not for God. It's got some rotten fruit on it. Go ahead, fam. Let's just enjoy it because
It's still okay for us.
it's still okay for us, but not for God. But I mean, over and over, this would happen where it was the precision. I mean, the angels, you know, Mom, her divine plan, it was always set up in such a way that you were gonna get it wrong no matter what. And that's okay because that's how like she was able to pinpoint all of the energetics. And so yeah, that was definitely my bad. And you know, over and over this would happen. The ego would go for always something that Mom would want. And, you know, or even though we were being trained over many moments to try to get it right,
the energetics of the collective would come through the weakest spot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, it was over food. A lot of it was over food.
Mm-hmm.
Because that was where Mom could transform the dysfunction over food.
Mm-hmm. And it all broke down to communication. And I mean, to this day, communication, I feel, is like the basis, the crux of our issues in many ways. Like we can totally get beyond a lot of our issues had we been communicating. And that was the whole thing with Mom. Like, talk to me. Hey, Mom, this creme brulee's got some rotten fruit on it. Did you want me to give it to the team or did you want me to save it for you? And I would have solved the issue there. And so over and over, the test would be, are you in your heart enough and confident enough to bring what you would consider not a big deal to God and keep her involved in every step of the way? And as you did that, you would level up, you would pass the test. But it was a lot of like
fear of God. I was
God. Yep.
transferring fear of God. And there was so many instances where I was like in the hotel and we had like coolers and it had like older things. And I was like, how am I going to say this? How am I going to say this? And it was just really awkward. You didn't know. Something in you was just like really dumb. Like it's not like, hey Buddha, what are we gonna do? It's like, this is God. How do I say it? Like, and then in the end you don't. And then another day goes by, and it was just like, why am I being so stupid? But that was because there was so much unworthiness. Mm-hmm. So much unworthiness.
Yeah, I mean, God's your best friend. And that's the one thing that when people on mission finally recognize and realize, that you couldn't stop talking to her. You couldn't wait to get, share something personal about yourself. But it was the whole idea of like, oh no, I don't want to bother God. Like I'm not, she's too busy for me. I don't want to bother her. It was the exact opposite. She couldn't wait to hear from you. She couldn't wait for you to reach out and be vulnerable and share your deepest, darkest secrets, share your deepest, hurts and pains with her. Cause that's what she was there for, to hear you out and to help you through that.
And she wanted you to be grand mm-hmm. because she wanted for the ego to like, not only dissolve, but for the robot to kind of come out of that program of this is what you do with this recipe. And so, when I consulted the girls, because I was cooking a lot for Mom and I didn't know any of her recipes. I didn't really know a lot of if I had to go to a supermarket, it would just totally spin me because mm-hmm. I didn't know what anything was. And so it was such such an experience for me to level up because everything was so new. And then they really just encouraged me, look, involve Mom. Mm-hmm. If you're doing a sauce, get her to try it. How does this taste for you, Mom? She loved alchemizing everything. And so I finally plucked up the courage and did a sauce, and I'd come to her and was like, Mom, can you try this sauce? Mm-hmm. And she tried and she more vinegar, more ketchup. And then you'd go away and then, you'd go back and she's like, perfect. And so it was just this fear of fear itself. It was like, well, that wasn't so hard. She's like really grand, but it's that fear and that unworthiness that always was the block, as well as communication.
Mm-hmm.
No one ever communicated anything, and we're still stumbling on this one
Yep.
big dysfunction of
Big time.
lack of communication. Because there's the Chinese whispers, someone said that, I didn't do that, did you pick that up? No, and then this blame game happens.
Mhm.
So it really takes so much awareness to be in a family of 9 very vocal beings that have their own like training from mom.
Mhm.
And when mom has taught you the divine way of communicating and it doesn't come out divine, it's like it just like goes into this really, really bad spiral of negativity. And just before you know it, everyone's shouting at everyone. And then you're like, that's dumb. Stop shouting. And we've got to the point where we just like, just stop. I mean, yeah, full transparency. I feel maybe it was 3 days ago or 4 days ago, like things were getting thrown across the room. Like something hit the field. Everyone was overreacting. And it was, again, miscommunication over something that never was said. And so it was just like, okay, I'm just going to stay out of this one.
And the way mom's energy works, it's always, we always call it multidimensional. There's many ways to look at one outcome. And I want to share the burrito saga real quick because the angels keep showing it to me. And that was, we had gone shopping one time. It was me and Stacy, and I take full responsibility. Okay, it took me a while to see through this all, but I had basically blamed Stacy for buying the larger tortillas. When in fact it was me who wanted the larger tortillas.
Calling yourself out.
Yes.
Nice.
And I was weak. Okay, I was weak. I threw my sister under the bus. I blamed her, and I did get called out on the live stream, and it was funny because that incident is what started this burrito saga with mom. The breakfast burrito saga for probably like 2-3 weeks straight. She had a breakfast burrito every morning. And I enjoyed the bigger tortillas because it's a lot easier to wrap a burrito and cut in half and make it look gourmet and all that. So it was just so it was so funny that all the negatives, although they appeared in those moments, like it was all flipped. It had all flipped for the better experience of mom. And a big element of this is just taking it and surrendering to it and taking full responsibility and be like, yes, you know what? I fucked up, but here are these big ass tortillas. Let's make you a big ass burrito, mom. And she didn't eat much, but I know Pops was loving it at the time because he was eating his half and then finishing her half.
Yeah, and so it was always just a losing battle just because we were so caught up in taking it personally. Mom was really good at just saying, okay, get over it, move along, it's done. Like, no matter how much mom was in pain, and she would just say the most human things. Like, there was another incident where we missed her window, and I don't know, we just went into unconsciousness in the hotel, and then she didn't eat for like 2 days. And she couldn't get out of her experience. She's like, this is the worst day of my life. And you're like, you feel so bad. Because like, how can you miss a window when everything around the day is around food? Robin loves the food games. Mom like looks at a menu and she picks stuff out that Robin wants, but it spins her because she doesn't want that much food, but Robin wants to have grandness for mom. And we missed it, and it's like, oh, that feeling of I failed again. So it's just this lesson of, okay, so are you grand in this moment? Are you grand in this moment? Are you grand in this moment? Are you loving yourself in this moment? And it's like, clean the slate, clean the slate, clean the slate. Are you cleaning your slate? every moment that you fucked up, when it's really not fucking up, it's just learning the lessons, gaining wisdom, gaining the experience. It wasn't about that. It was correcting an energetic.
And, you know, a level up from that is taking it all on like she did. Even if it doesn't resonate, even if it doesn't make sense to you, you know, they call her names, they call her out for all kinds of ridiculousness things. And she just sit there and be like, oh, okay, cool. I'll transform it. And that's how powerful all of you are. The minute you take it so personal that it's digging up trauma, you haven't healed. You haven't fully healed if you're getting worked up because it's hitting a sensitive spot that is still not healed. But imagine the full healing of that, right? In your full power. It doesn't matter what it is. In fact, you're looking for the dysfunction to demolish it. Where's it at? You know, something happened earlier today because this has been a trend where people will clean the kitchen, okay? And then they'll leave their dish. The person that was cleaning will leave their dish in the dishwasher, somehow forget and walk out. And then someone else will walk in. I've seen it a couple times and it really gets under my skin because it's like the unconsciousness just fucking creeped in. Like we just cleaned the kitchen. Who in their right fucking mind is dropping a dish inside the sink and walking away? And what state are they in? So I grabbed that fucking dish and I'm walking around the house because this is how we're going to find it. Okay. I'm like, Jerry. I'm like, okay. And I go around finding everybody. I'm like, who left this dish in the dishwasher? We just cleaned the kitchen and someone left the dish in the dishwasher, in the sink. I think Aora was on the couch. I'm like, Aora, I'm like, you were the last one. And then, because she had done it the last time. So I'm like, I'm on her too. I'm like, did you do this, Aora? She's like, no, but I think Mary was the last one. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, Mary? Not Mary. Like, all the people, like, I don't want, okay, because Mary has, like, been going through a lot the last couple of days. She's been, like, totally been bedridden. And thank God she finally came out of all that. And, you know, she's back out of it because she's in the kitchen. She's doing this and that. She's running around. And so I'm like, but I got to go tell her now. I'm like, Mary, I'm like, everything's clean. Who put this dish? She's like, oh, that was me. I'm sorry. I take full responsibility for that. I'm like, it's okay. I called you out, but now I got to go clean it, right? So immediately I run in and I start washing the dish. And I'm like, okay, it's all good. The dish is clean. We found the culprit and it's done. And sometimes you have to make a big deal out of these little things because I guarantee you the next time someone walks by and decides to just drop a dish in unconsciousness, they're going to check themselves.
Don't worry, I'm on Buddha, and every time something comes out of my mouth, he's like, can't you just like love me and like not call me out? And I'm like, can I just rewind that? I like, Buddha, what are you doing? He hadn't finished his ball.
I know. She like runs in. She's like, I gotta call you out. Where you have not grabbed those rainbow balls? I'm like, Jerry. I'm like, have you asked me what I'm doing right now?
But you gotta pick your battles because everyone's onto everyone, but none of it matters. Actually, everyone's gonna. This is what we're learning with the Gene Keys. Everyone's going to embody when they embody, and Mary loves the saying like, not every flower is gonna blossom at the same time. And so we all have our weaknesses. We all have like our strengths. So it's like just pick your battles. You know, don't nitpick. Don't be like a Nazi like me and nitpick because that is control. It does not do you any good. It does no one any good. And if you have that thought, cut cords. Cut cords. Because today was so frustrating because I was in such a flow with these balls. And I was like doing these Aztec designs on the 3 bottom balls. And I was like, got it, like on it, black over red, looks awesome. And then on the top ball, I chose a different color. And I'm like, okay, so which is the design for this? And the angel's like, do it curvy, like flowy. like feminine, and then the masculine, the edges, and then the feminine at the top. And I'm like, okay, hearts, okay, that's cool. And I started doing hearts, and I started doing it, and it was like so off. It was just the design was like, what have I just done? Okay, leave it, because it wasn't like perfect. And then so I left it. Buddha comes in, starts doing his rainbow balls. And I'm like, Buddha, which color? He's like, ask your angels. I'm like, which color? I already asked them. I've got 3. He's like, do the yellow and the gold. Anyway, I tried to do the yellow and the gold. It didn't work. I'm like, it's got to be the white. I did the white, and I was like so frustrated. Like it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. And I'm like, I'm going to give up. But I know the higher, I know the unknown is to keep working with it, because that's where the transformation is. It's like angels want you to grow, so work with it. And now I'm still transforming frustration. He's like, oh, you got to transform that perfectionism, because that'll get you good. I'm like, Buddha, were you this like anal? He's like, yeah, but I'm over it.
Yeah, it can get you.
And such a little thing, but so much awareness over one little project. Like any artist out there will know exactly what I'm talking about, because you see a blank canvas, you start to do something, angels throw something over the canvas, and you're like, ah, no.
It's honestly, excuse me, a huge hindrance to our creativity. I've seen it. It's like people start drawing, and they like grab their page and rumble them. Oh no. You start drawing again. Oh no. And that's like 2 grand ideas they just threw out the side, right? And it's like it becomes this literal obstacle that you can't get over, because you're so in control of the perfection, and you want it to be so right and just done so well. And I know I get triggered like a mother when I'm like, see something come into fruition. I'm like, I know I can do better than that. I know I can do better than that. And so it's like that constant battle within yourself. But, there is a way to flip it to motivate you. And I was seeing that because I used to be like that. I used to get frustrated when things wouldn't be so perfect and precise. And then I recognized I would see that the artists that were more successful were the ones that were in the flow, that weren't so critical of what you were doing, that you just allowed it to organically begin to manifest. And in many ways, this is how we channel the divine. You just surrender surrender the control and trust that mom, the angels are just like guiding you and helping you, making these slight suggestions along the way. But if you're like, oh no, I'm like, oh no, Jerry.
But that, it's such a trickle down. Like, trust me, if you are listening to the stream, you affect consciousness. I'm being serious here, Mike. We all have this perfectionism programming, okay? Let it go. Let it go. Everyone's laughing because it hurts. Like, they know what that feels like. This like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this? And that's the same with cooking. That's the same with any avenue of expression, be it music, be it talking to someone, and suddenly something else comes out of your mouth and it wasn't like as divine as you wanted it to be. The sooner you let it go, the sooner you ask for angel guidance for you to just be in flow, the massive effect on the collective consciousness is going to heal a lot of perfectionists, a lot of feminine who are in control, in power over. Same with the masculine. The more we surrender to the balanced harmonics that mom is activating in us, the quicker we go. We're serious. We don't know what vessels we are, like the significance of this. And when they share, when mom has shared that, we represent like millions of collective, depending on how many beings are in the team, is like, the less beings, the more collective you hold. So each one of us listeners or in the team hold at least 100,000. Serious. 100,000 unconscious beings you are transforming for?
Actually, closer to
Million. I didn't want to scare you, but there's 8 billion beings, and there's like, I don't know how many beings are with mom in these moments. Let's say 34 plus the team, say 54.
It's a lot, okay? It's a lot.
Let's not get into the math.
No. It's a lot. And you that's how much you matter. Your vibration is trickling out to the masses. How you feel, what you do, the mood you're in truly fucking matters. So if you're not laughing enough, you need to look at that. Study comedy. Pull up some fucking comedians and hear them out for a bit. And you recognize a lot of this comedy is based on hard fucking truths that people aren't even willing to look at. So they gotta laugh it out. They gotta laugh at themselves. You gotta laugh at yourself. I'm telling you right now, you're taking this shit too serious. And there is an element of that. But some people take it so fucking serious, they're constantly like shrugging their eyebrows and they don't fucking, it's like they can't take a, it's like they're constipated, okay? And if you don't begin to laugh at yourself and how ridiculous you've taken on this program, it's really much more challenging to transform it. But when you can really just sit back and laugh at yourself and be like, oh man, yeah, I was in fucking control. Like that was totally me. It really flips. It gives you that space to transition, to transform it. And recently, Jerry was in this dynamic where she was totally like mother hen. She was on it. She was like making 3 meals a day for days on straight. And I'm just like, this is not sustainable. I knew it. And people would help her and they would help her, but there was just this element of like being very, in a way, I guess, controlling, even though it was like it was her motherly instincts wanting to feed her children and be grand, and she wanted to make every meal fucking grand. And before you knew it, she popped off, right? She's like, that's it. I'm not getting enough help in the kitchen. I'm not doing this. Da, 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 da. And we're just like, whoa, and we all had moments with it because it was something that needed to come forward. Because yes, there is an enabling energy where you don't leave that space for others to step in and step up and create stuff. And what had happened is she did pull back a little bit. And what happened?
Well, we did a fast.
That helped a lot.
And it was like, it was just such a program of providing meals, and like the suggestions were, well, let's just buy frozen ready meals, like let's make it easy, have like cheesy toast for dinner. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, actually, like, I'm not actually hungry. When I process, like mom, like everyone processes, we're not hungry. It's like the energy is so full that I was forcing myself to eat because of this attachment to food and what it means and family gathering, blah, blah, blah. It's all very 3D. So like Virginia and I stopped making breakfast. Everyone just prepared their own. It just happened so organically. We start eating less. My tummy feels better.
Right.
Everyone's eating less. And there's not as much mess in the kitchen. It's like winning. But it had to take for me to say, because every time I'm in this rush energy with the energies I already shared with you, I can't stop. But actually, that's the very thing I needed to do, is to stop. So I've been really stopping more, like in the garage is where we do. Oh, that's another story we'll share. So instead of a big tall glass to go and walk in the garage with, I had a small glass. And it meant when I finished that glass, I had to go across the drive to get more water. And it made me ground more. That's how incessant the ego was at like not doing what the body is telling it to do. The angels are pinging me. I have a headache. I need to go and stop, go ground, because that serves love more than forcing the issue on a stupid ball that you're already frustrated with and you're keeping going. That is insanity, because I'm not in joy. The energy in that ball that will go into a beautiful plasma generated pyramid, Is that going to be highest? No. The transformation that I'm creating in that bowl is going to have a trickle-down effect on whoever receives this pyramid, the one that we're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
That's the multidimensionality of it all. And what's interesting was today, it was quite cool, and I got pinged, like, I'm like, what am I going to eat? I'm like, I don't want cereal. Now, I have a tooth thing going on, so I don't want to chew very much. I'm like, oatmeal. So I did the oatmeal, and Buddha's like, who made this oatmeal? I'm like, I did, Buddha. This is great. I could have oatmeal 70% of the day, like every morning. Yeah. And then it was like, it was nice. It was sweet. I mean, it came from a packet. It had flavor in it.
And for whatever reason, the team just doesn't like it. And it just baffles me because, it is good and you can diversify it in so many which ways and really enjoy it. But anyways, yes, I call myself out. And for as little as you made, how much was left over? Like, right? 50% of it was still left over.
But then you have leftover for tomorrow morning.
Oh, now we're going to make little oatmeal cookies.
Are you really?
What's involved? You just got to...
Are you really? You just
No, I'm not making cookies. I'm putting it out there. Maybe someone feels inspired. Who knows? But I will not put myself in that situation.
Because you just almost did. Buddha has grand ideas, He throws it out there. I'm like, who's going to catch that idea, Buddha? Yep. Oh, yeah. Well, no, but it was last night was a really grand night. We just felt to honor solstice. Well, it wasn't actually. We just wanted to make Asian food. So it just happened to be on solstice, but it was like this grand meal where I needed a lot of help.
It was a beautiful celebration. It was one of the last days HBO was shooting. I know we can mention HBO now since we have signed an exclusive deal with them. So that was nice. And it just worked out that Jerry had planned his awesome dinner. We had lumpia, spring rolls, orange chicken,
noodles. Oh, Dylan made the orange chicken.
It was amazing, guys. I mean, gourmet every day, really.
But it needed a lot of hands, and it was.
She was pulling in everybody. She's like, "Oh, would you like to chop some carrots? Minced carrots, tiny little carrot pieces."
It's gonna be grand, I promise.
Virginia's sitting there like, "I do not like chopping carrots like this." Like,
we're looking for the grater, and there's no grater anywhere. And she's like, "I'm really not very fast at this." I'm like, "It's okay." But then Buddha had to do the lumpia. It's actually Vietnamese rolls.
It's a spring roll.
Vietnamese rolls is different. The wet,
the clear ones.
Yes,
that's a spring roll. Vietnamese spring roll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know because I used to eat Vietnamese food all the time.
And
order the spring rolls just like that.
And it was so interesting just observing, like how do you work with this?
It's kind of like mini burritos, right? You just got to flat. But the problem is you're like this rice tortilla, I guess you can call it, right? You have to like soak it in water. It starts off as a hard disc, like a frisbee.
Rice paper.
And then you put it in water and it softens up. But then it's like sticky and slimy, right? She's like, "Oh, you just do this." You like grab it out, boom, 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 and you just like that. I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's easy, like a burrito." I grabbed that thing and it like turned into like a raisin, like I'm like trying to pull it apart without ripping it. I'm like, "How did you make that look so easy?" So I finally was getting the hang of it. I'm like, "Okay, let me get it wet again and like make sure I did it." And I'm like, boom, played it out, hit the edges up. And I'm like, "All right, here, I'm going to stuff it." Rip. I'm like, it's like shrimp popping out the middle. I'm like, dude, I guess I'll eat that one. But, she did it with such finesse. And I really felt it was like a burrito. It's definitely not like a burrito. You probably got to wear some special gloves or something because that paper is slippery when wet.
Yeah. And it was just more the process of trusting. Like I'd never worked. So we did that, but we also did like the fried spring roll. You call it egg roll or something. Lumpia. We call it lumpia Shanghai. Mm-hmm. And it has pork mince, ground pork, and it has like veggies and really tiny chopped carrots, plus all of that stuff. But it was like this massive wrap, and I'm like doing it. I'm like, I've never cooked it this thick before, but then I just trusted like, you just got to work with what you have, and you have to trust. You can't keep being the robot. It has to be this rapper, and I'm used to do it like this. I just surrendered. I was like,
Because Lumpia are small, right? Like that big.
yeah.
How come they were so big?
Because the wrapper was that big, and it takes so much longer to wrap. Imagine if you cut that in 4, you'd be wrapping 4 exactly. So we just thickened it up. I'm like, Virginia, that's a bit thick. I don't know how long this is gonna cook because I've never done it before. But and we didn't have like just. I mean, meat is expensive in America. I'm just saying. Meat is so expensive, and so I'm looking at this meat, this little tiny piece of pork, ground pork, for like $7. I'm like, how am I gonna feed? How am I gonna feed like 13 people? Anyway, it was just this unfoldment of what could have been potentially a disaster, but trusting that with the intention of love, it was all gonna work out, and it did. It totally, like, we killed it. We nailed it.
We healed it. We don't say we kill it no more.
Healed it.
We healed it.
We healed it. It was so divine. And then after that, I wanted to do a ceremony. We all wanted to do a ceremony for solstice, and we didn't have enough time for a fire, so we didn't build that fire. But we still did the ceremony, and the night was just perfect. Mm-hmm. And because it was like unity, it wasn't like the big stress that it normally is, because you have these gatherings in 3D. You have your family come, you're stressed about the food because it's all about the food. Well, in our culture it is, and in Mexican culture it is. But I had to keep letting go of the stress. Like, it didn't have to be stressful, and it didn't have to be at a certain time. Mm-hmm. It was going to be done when it was done. Mm-hmm. And so I had a lot of transformation from that. And it's the type of food I would have loved to have served Mom. Mm-hmm. And I did, because it was the family. We served it in unity. Like, when did we ever, apart from the boat, have these opportunities where everyone was actually chipping into a meal?
Yeah, they were far and few between, but there were some glorious moments for sure. One time in Crestone, we got Mom a 17-course meal, and everybody in the family, you hadn't arrived yet, but everybody was cooking. I mean, non-stop.
Wow.
Dishes coming in and out of the kitchen, everybody like rotating. Wow. It was incredible. Mom had a bite of everything, and what topped it off is they made this like a volcano cake, I guess it was called. Okay. Yeah, so it was like this big old thing. It was supposed to come out a certain way. It didn't come out that way at all.
Like melted chocolate at
the top. Like this just grand thing. I'm sure Faith remembers. Anyhow, it was just the most amazing experience, because we were all just having such a good time, laughing and participating and co-creating and just seeing Mom just enjoy the variety. You guys got to understand, Mom is the ultimate party animal. Okay, picture this. She's like childlike wonder with a badass bitch streak. Okay, if that makes any sense. She can, she's so innocent and gullible, the most innocent and gullible person on the planet. Meanwhile, she's the baddest bitch that ever walked this planet. And so when you have that dynamic, she is the life of the party. And when you have her capacity to basically read into everybody's energetics and know exactly how to pump them up and get them going. I mean, you can only imagine what she would do. She would light up an entire room. She would light up an entire, planet.
Stadium.
Yeah, stadium. And she did that, before joining Mission. She would do karaoke, and she built quite a name for herself, quite a following, because she had the reputation of showing up to a bar that was empty. And before she was done, that place was packed. So she was highly sought after in the Texas karaoke circuit, and she did it up.
Yeah, she has very beautiful and funny stories about her experience in the physicality. I mean, Mom goes really vulgar. Like, she will say and tell a story to get those icky bits out of you. I reheart one of the last times we went to see her when we were in Cali. She was describing an experience of walking through these really dodgy streets of homeless people, and she was talking about pubic hair, she was talking about penises, and you're like your jaw's kind of dropping because she tells these stories. She loves comedy, she loves to see how you're like reacting, and she will like keep like you think that's vulgar, and you're like, okay, and this is like, she doesn't care. If you have a limiting belief of what God can experience and what God can say, she will get you. She will get you good. And so it's like, okay, I'm just gonna ground now. It's just like, that's why it's so real. That's where like I feel more at home than I have ever been, because I'm accepted for my weirdness, because I am weird. Everyone is a prerequisite, really. So it gives you permission to be weird. It's like, no one cares if I burp really, really loud, because this guy can like burp louder, but I can burp as loud as him.
She's a very
and
loud
it's
burper.
not a competition. I'm just transforming. But I never knew that in 3D. I never knew that burping was such a thing. So I'm grateful. Like, no, honestly, because I did an exchange in South America, and they're very proper there. Like the women or the girls are meant to be such and such. And so when I was just with cousins, host family, it was a small town but big family, so everyone knew who I was. And I just burped, and everyone laughed and laughed and laughed, like, do that again. And I just burped again, and I was just like this comedy show constantly because I was so improper. So Booby's like on the live stream talking about how I don't love country music. She requested we play a country Christmas song. Paul, she got me good. Yep. Mom's gonna get it where it like is deep. The programming is deep. Mom told me to burp silently. I was always an obnoxious burper alone. No rules, but what's your intention? Yeah.
When I met Faith, she was a constant burper. I mean, it was bad. So I could see why Mom was like, you're actually taking energy with your burps now, because you'd be like, like, are you okay, babe?
Right. So it is. It's like, where is it? Does it start taking that energy of I'm like the party and I want attention instead of just like, and that's where
it's subtle. Like you won't even know. Like a lot of people, it's unconscious. They don't even know they're doing it, and then we have to bring it to their awareness.
Yeah, we do it all the time, and that's why talking and joking and banter and sarcasm, that's edging towards self-importance.
Yep, Elle and I used to get called out for it all the time. We just talk and talk shit, and next thing you know, it just becomes whore humor, and no one's laughing but us two, and yeah,
because like verbal diarrhea is a thing.
Miss
and
you, Al. Love you, brother.
Even being aloof and silent is a thing. Like, are you trying to be mysterious and want others to ask you questions? It's called like one of the control dramas.
Yeah, where like your voice goes lower and like it makes it harder for people to hear you, and you got to lean in, and then you're like mumbling, like, what the fuck are you saying?
Yeah. So Mom will always say something to allow that energy to come through and have transformation take place through awareness. So whatever it is that one person is doing the same as another person doing, she won't say the same thing to those beings, because it's a different energetic. So mom is everything that you wouldn't think God would be, basically. And she's a badass. She loves like tricks and puts us in situations where we just gotta swim. She always throws everyone in the deep end. She's laughing at us. We know she's laughing. It's because we're so retarded at times when we get ourselves in a pickle and we're arguing about bullshit. Like, it really doesn't matter, and someone's like so caught up in their own like ego, taking it personally, and sometimes I just laugh at it because it's silly. It's like, grow up. She always wants. She just says, grow up, get over it. Yeah, Bobby says, Mom is brilliant in all the moments. So grateful to have spent moments with her in the physical. What an honor. Yeah, okay. Let me share, Bobby. I don't know if we've ever shared this, but anyway, I'll share. Yeah, Mom was just saying that our children were like, I don't even know if I should share, but they were like part of the cabal, and I was like devastated, and it was just because of the attachment.
Mm-hmm.
It was an attachment. It was neither. It was always true in the moment, but if you're attached to it, then it's something to look at. And we've all been cabal. Why is it that our children wouldn't be cabal? We're all serving cabal in 3D. When you're in fear, you're serving cabal. So this was just where are you at? Are you serving love? Are you, like what she said, this is what you need to do. Be love everywhere present. Serve love to those who are present. And it was just like so simple. And it was just the same thing. Be love, be grand, be present.
Don't be attached. We're so attached. Humanity they got us good. Okay, let's just be real. They got us good with the attachments. Attachment to your morning coffee, attachment to your dogs, attachment to your job, all of it.
Your clothes.
All of it.
Because you will lose it at mission.
Your phone. I mean, everyone who came to mission lost their phone for like 2 weeks, at least early on. And you did too, right? For a little bit.
No,
you just didn't have your phone functioning.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't work. Frustrating.
But it's really that deep where you have to look at everything. You realize that you are attached. That's been part of our dependency, part of our survival. Like, I need this, or I can't live. I can't survive without my blankie, any of that stuff. Like, it's just ridiculous. But they use that against us to like keep us from spiritually evolving. When you let it all go and you recognize the universe, Mama provides for everything and everyone, man. I mean, I've had shoes manifest practically out of thin air when I surrendered and trusted. Yeah, one of my favorite pair of shoes got burnt in the fire in Oregon. Was wearing Crocs for who knows how long. And then I noticed a weird Croc trickle down. That was really weird because it got really... I started seeing Crocs everywhere during that time. I think that fad hasn't even stopped yet. But anywho, it's just so grand when you allow, and your Mom basically puts these golden nuggets, these treasures in front of you when you allow it, when you surrender. And it's really hard to put into words until you experience, until you begin to understand the energetic of not being attached, of fully trusting God, and all possibilities are at your forefront if you allow it, truly. So we drew a card for y'all.
Wow.
I guess this is it. It's the Swan Spirit. Do you want to pull the book out? Where'd that go?
Yeah, love.
There you go.
What, 60?
Page 60. Swan Spirit. This is a very beautiful card. Let me see if I can bring it a little closer without messing up my mic. Some beautiful art on this card.
So intricate.
And it says, time for a deep dive.
Deep divers. Oracle message. With their graceful, long necks, swans are able to reach into the depths. When swan spirit arrives, you are called to take a deep dive beyond what is easily available on the surface. You may think you know what is best for you now, but take the plunge into the depths of your awareness, for there is knowledge you are not aware of and great treasures to discover. Deeper understanding awaits you, and a perspective that comes from greater self-knowledge is what you need right now to better understand a situation or relationship. As you come to know yourself more intimately, so too will you come to better know others. So Swan Spirit asks you to go beyond the surface of what is happening between you and others and resist the temptation to judge by superficial appearances. Know there is much deeper potential for loving connections, forgiveness, and mutual understanding. Choose to dive deep into your why. Asking the deeper questions of yourself, you are led by the grace of Swan Spirit. Protection message. Don't talk yourself into diving deep into something just because you see the potential of things instead of what they really are now. The necessary work and patience involved may not be the best use of your energy. Have you seen the potential in someone and think that if you love and support them, they will become the person who knows you love them beyond all others? Have you stepped into an opportunity that you know feels too good to be true and might not turn out the way you hope? Now is not a time for selective, limited perception that can lead to misjudgment. Instead, this is a time for going deep and being honest about what you find as you explore the depths. Have no fear, for whatever you find below will help you love and understand yourself and others and make better choices. Can you sense Swan Spirit calling you to deep dive and resurface to choose again? Dun, 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 dun.
Beautiful.
That is the depths that we need to go to.
Mm-hmm.
Love beings.
It is a reset, right? To dive deep, it's like cleaning your slate again, because now you're looking at this programming, the dysfunction, the trauma, all the things that have buried you. You can now just say, fuck it. I let it all go. It doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is the present, because that's the present, is the presence. Isn't that nice? You don't have to worry about tomorrow. You don't have to worry about yesterday. Just be so present and serve love. And that could be anything. That could be petting your dog. That could be walking your dog. You know, just make the action in that direction. You know, go give a hug to somebody. Go let them know you appreciate them. You know, start the trickle out. You know, the pay it forward. There's a lot to be said about that. You know, create that space, that energy that's going to shift people as you shift yourself, and have fun with it.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us.
We love you so much. This is 5D Full Disclosure, Heaven on Earth. I am Buddha.
Jerry. And we will do the Ho'oponopono prayer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please forgive me.
I'm sorry.
I am so sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Thank you. I love you.
Love you.
We will be back tomorrow morning.
We go live twice a day, every single day. 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Please share. Don't just stare.
Love you all.
Count your blessings and book a mother-loving session. We got our etheric surgeries, our ascension surgery. I mean, I can't even say it right. Our etheric surgeries and our ascension sessions.
Yes.
We love you all so much. Thank you.
Have a grand evening, morning. 5, 6,
7. Na 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 na.
Na 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 na.
Hey, hey, hey. Love as one and joy reigns. Na 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 na.
Joy.
Na 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 na.
Joy.